What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope all you had a great day today. Hope you had a great weekend. Um, Getting into this episode of GH. First of all, Julian really think he got that type of pull that he used to have. Like, bro, you are not in the mob anymore. He's sitting there trying to make phone calls to try to get Ryan taken care of. But of course, Julian has no luck. Like, bro, you do not have the type of pull that you used to have or you think you currently have. You don't have it, so knock it off. I can't say that I blame him, though, for doing whatever he can to try to save his skin, but, the way he been going about it lately, it's like, yeah, bro, it stinks of desperation. So anyway, moving on from that, poor Alexis, still boozing it up, going on yet another bender. She up and Charlie trying to order more vodka, and Julian trying to stop her, and she's basically not trying to hear it from him either. Definitely not from him. My whole thing is, if she's not going to listen to Sam, she's not going to listen to anybody. She's not going to listen to her children. She's not going to listen to Sonny. She's not going to listen to Julian, definitely. She's not going to listen to anybody at this point. So they can try and do an intervention, but I don't think it's really going to work unless she wants to help. Because you can't help somebody that don't want it. And right now, she just don't want it. So as bad as it is, I mean, look at Jax the other day. Jax really didn't want her to take that drink. You know what I mean? But there was really nothing Jax could do about it. She didn't even want to listen to him. And that's been her best friend for years. And she didn't want to hear it from him. So she's not going to want to hear it from nobody. And this is why I say Alexis has to hit rock bottom. She's going to have to just lose any and everything, pretty much. She's going to have to go through a lot more things in order for her to have that come to Jesus moment to say, okay, I need to pick up my life, pick up the pieces. And I feel like that's what Alexis need to do. And she continues to blame everybody for everything bad that's happening. Like the other day when she blamed Britt for her and Neil losing their licenses. Her license to practice law, his to practice medicine. I feel like my thing is you can blame Britt all you want to. That was her and Neil's fault. Because you knew the rules. You knew that he could not date a patient until at least 2 years. Then he can date you. But they didn't want to wait to 2 years. Y'all took that risk. Y'all lied to the board. Y'all did that. So you can't blame Britt. You can be mad at her for snitching or doing whatever. That's fine. But you can't blame her for that when y'all knew the risk and you still took that risk. So these are the consequences to said risk. That was on you. That was on you and Neil. You can't blame nobody but you. And now she wants to blame Julian for Neil's death and her alcoholism. Here's the thing. You can blame Julian for a lot of things, but your alcoholism, I'm sorry, you cannot blame that man for that. Yeah, Julian did put her through some hell. He tried to kill her. All of that, he did. I ain't going to say that he didn't, but he did. But to say that he solely is responsible for driving you to alcohol, I don't believe that. Do I think Julian played a part in her becoming an alcoholic? Yes, I do. But here's the gotcha. I honestly, if you really look back at Alexis's history on this show, I can honestly say I personally feel like Alexis would have been to this point. I think she would have started drinking even if Julian did not show back up in Port Charles. I still think she would have became an alcoholic. Because look at her life choices. Look at the men that she chose to be with. Sonny, Julian, Rick, Sean, Jerry Jax. Look at all these men. Dangerous as hell, criminals. This is who you chose to be with. You made these choices. And then, on top of that, look at her family life. Look at her brothers, Stavros, Stefan. Look at her stepmother, Helena, her mother being killed. Then you have Miko's forefather. You know what I mean? All of those things contribute to her alcoholism today. All of those things. Her cancer battle. Everything contributes to her alcoholism. It's not just one thing. She can't solely blame Julian for this. It's everything that's happened in her life. Everything. this is why I feel like in the beginning when she went to therapy, I felt like that was a good choice. And I still feel like once she get herself together, she needs to go back to therapy and see either Andre Maddox or she needs to go see Kevin. She needs to go see Kevin. Because I feel like Kevin or Andre could really help her. Because I really feel like she needs extensive therapy. She needs it. But she's not going to get help until she really wants it. Because you can't help nobody that is an addict or an alcoholic. You can't help these people unless they want it. Because if you force the help on them, they're going to get out of rehab. And the first chance they get, they're going to go right back to their addiction. The first chance they get. Because they didn't really want to get clean. They didn't want to get sober. You know what I mean? She has to want to get sober on her own in order for it to work. And right now, she doesn't want to do that. So until she wants it, as painful as it is for Sam and everybody else to see her go through this, you're just going to have to sit back and watch. Because there's nothing you can do until Alexis wants the help. And currently, she doesn't. So it is what it is on that. It really is. There's nothing she can do. And I think deep down, I feel like Alexis is screaming out for help. I think she wants the help. But she's just pushing everybody away because she don't want to admit that she wants the help. She don't want to admit that she's a mess. She don't want to admit that. So until she's able to admit that, the first step is admitting you have a problem. That's the first step. And she's admitted that she's an alcoholic. She knows it. She's admitted it. That's the first step, but she's not going to want to take those other 11 steps because it's 12 steps and she's not trying to take those other 11. And until she's ready to commit, you just got to sit back and watch her become a alcoholic. Just watch her drink. And it's sad. It's sad. It is sad, but it's a reality right now. What else can anybody do? You can't force her into treatment. I mean, you possibly can. If you have power of attorney over her, you probably, can force her. But what good is that going to do if she's going to get out and the first chance she gets is going to, go right back to that sucking on that bottle? What's the point? Let her detox and do what she got to do and come to you when she's ready. That's the only thing that you can do to help her is when she's ready. So moving on from that, it was funny when Robert went to go see Jackie and he swiped those flowers to give her and stuff like that because he ain't paid for those flowers. Probably took them off the table somewhere. So of course Robert is still trying to sweet talk Jackie into helping him take down Peter. And you know what? I respect Jackie's response to that because she's a real true journalist. I mean, it's not that she don't want to help Robert, but Peter is her boss now. You know what I mean? And there's nothing she's seen so far that indicates that he's dirty. And like she told Robert, she's basically there for a whole nother story. She's there for the Cyrus story. If she happens to stumble on something that incriminates Peter, she will follow that lead and she will investigate it. That's the best that she can tell Robert that she could do. And I respect that. I respect that. But she's not just going to team up with Robert and go looking for the dirt because that's not why she came to town. You know what I mean? So if she sees something, she'll say something. But other than that, she was like, nope, I'm here for the story that I came back here for. And that's it. And I don't blame her. Because there's no evidence out there right now that suggests that he's dirty. I mean, he did a good job of covering up his tracks so far. So why go looking for something that currently just ain't there, that you don't see? And she doesn't have a personal bias against Peter, so there's no incentive for her to go after him. She doesn't, Robert, of course, has a bias against him. So basically, Robert started asking her what's the deal between Finn's father and Finn. And of course, Jackie wasn't about to talk about that. She ain't about to reveal that. I think eventually her and Robert might do something. I don't know. It's a toss up because Robert was like, basically, it's been nice catching up with her lately. And she was like, she offered to catch a game with him sometime. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I understand that they're old friends or whatever. They used to date back in the day. But I mean, if you're married and you go offer to hang out with your ex, talking about we could catch a game or something like that without your spouse, I feel like that's a problem to me. Something might go on. Because, if you're a husband, it's like you would feel uncomfortable with your wife. Hell, even if you're a wife, you would feel uncomfortable with your husband hanging out with his ex without you. I mean, I understand you may trust your spouse, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But no, my trust only goes so far. I wouldn't do all of that. And you know, Robert, he an old school player, so he might hit it. I'm just saying. I was intrigued though when Finn came knocking on Jackie's door to talk to her. I said, okay. So are we finally going to get these scenes? Are we finally going to get the nitty gritty as to why Finn does not like his father and his stepmama? Because I have a sinking feeling that they slept together. I really do. Something is nagging at me telling me he hit that. That he done got the draw. Something is telling me something went down. So anyway, moving on from that. So Sam and Jason sitting there talking about decorating the apartment for Halloween, you know, doing all this cutesy shit, which is nice. But of course, you know, Jason talking about he got to be on guard because of the Cyrus situation, so he can't let his guard down. And of course, Spinelli pops up talking about bringing down Peter and how eager he is to expose him before the baby comes and stuff like that. So basically, Sam wanted to know why Jason didn't tell her about Peter's connection to Shiloh, his involvement with him. And, you know, Jason basically was like, you know, I'll tell you, you know, in the future. He was like, basically, I'll tell you about their involvement together in the future, but not right now. Because he got, a lot of other shit on his plate. And he ain't got time to update you about every little thing. But I also just feel like Jason just doesn't like to tell Sam everything. He just likes to keep her out of it. Because even though they're together, she has done some illegal things in her life, she's not a part of his world, technically. She's not a part of that mob life. You know what I'm saying? You're not a part of the Corinthos Morgan criminal organization. You're not a part of that. So it's only but so many things Jason's going to tell you. And technically, y'all not legally married anymore. So it's only a handful of things he's going to, you know, open up to you about. Unless it involves y'all children or something like that. Then maybe he'll tell you if there's a danger or something like that. But beyond that, he's not going to tell you the details of his business. Like, he's not going to do it. Sonny may do that with Carly, but that's different. Carly put in years with Sonny. There's a difference, and that's his wife. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference for him opening up and telling her everything. She's a mob wife, not a mob girlfriend. There's a difference. So basically, Robert caught up with Spinelli to talk about their plot against Peter, and that's when he got a text from Olivia about Dante being back. And, you know, Robert gets to thinking, like, what the hell could have expedited that? You know, how he got back so quickly. Because he wasn't ready before. Now, all of a sudden, he's back in Port Charles. So, you know, Robert probably going to call some WSB contacts and get the digging on that one. I wouldn't be surprised. So, anyway, Lulu catches Kevin in the lab and stuff, running tests and doing all that stuff. And she wanted to talk to him about Dante being back and her conflicting feelings for him and Dustin and stuff, because she's happy that Dante's back, but she don't want to make it seem like her and Dustin never happened, like their feelings are not real. Because like I said, I believe her feelings are real for Dustin, but like I said, her feelings and her emotions for Dustin are nothing like her feelings for Dante. I believe she truly, genuinely cares for Dustin, but not on the same level that she does for Dante. That's real love. Her and Dante been through a lot over the years. And her feelings for Dustin just don't compare. And Kevin basically told her, take your time to iron out your feelings. You know, you ain't got to make no decisions today or tomorrow, which is true. She don't. But eventually you're going to have to. You're going to have to figure out what you want to do, because neither man is going to stay in limbo. And eventually Dante probably going to move the hell on too at some point. So you might want to get it popping right now. So Anna and Finn were sitting around in the hospital talking and stuff. So she got a plan to sneak into the lab and get a piece of Faison's brain so she can confirm whether or not Alex is Peter's mother. What the hell do you need with that? What is his brain going to tell you about your maternity to Peter? How is that going to help you? His brain, like, what is she going to do? Try to get memory off of it or something? Like what is... I don't know. That sounds like some sci-fi movie shit to me. I don't know. I don't know. Like, Anna is under this delusion that she's the only one currently keeping Peter on the straight and narrow right now, keeping him, good. Anna, you are not the one keeping him on the straight and narrow, because that boy is not on the straight and narrow. He basically had Drew allegedly murdered. He did something with Holly, got her in Rudge's hands. So trust, you are not keeping that man good. And then when her and Finn broke into the lab and stuff and they got caught by Kevin, they try to come up with a million excuses and stuff as to why they're in there until Anna finally told Kevin what she really need his help with. Like she reminded him that they were both victims of that memory mapping and all that stuff. So she wants his help confirming whether or not she's Peter's mother or Alex is his mother. Either way, like I said, hopefully the test, whatever test they run or however they find out, I swear I hope that Peter is not Anna's son. I really hope not. Because I feel like that was the worst thing they could have done, was do that foolishness. So anyway, Dante walked into the floating rib and Maxie was all happy to see him and stuff. And, she tells him that, she tells him about her professional life and her upcoming marriage and baby to Peter and stuff. And Dante was not amused. Because not only that, because we all know he's in town to basically get dirt on him for Obrecht, even though he doesn't know it's for Obrecht. But Dante reminded her that Peter was the reason Nathan was dead in the first place. And that she was making a big mistake. So, of course, Maxie is pissed off because she feels like, okay, this is another person that's not happy for me. Like, shouldn't that be your hint? Like, if these people are not happy for you, shouldn't that tell you something? That you are making a mistake? Because most of the people in that town were not happy for you. Sam wasn't happy. Dante's not happy. Robert's not happy. Spinelli wasn't happy. Like, you got some people that known you for years, basically your family, and they're not happy because they know that you're making a mistake. Like, you got rose-colored glasses on right now. And Maxie needs to realize that. Like, if everybody got an issue with you being with Peter and marrying Peter, having a child with Peter, shouldn't that tell you something? But Maxie's seeing and hearing what she wants. That's the problem. She think people doing it out of jealousy, or they hating, or they keep, trying to project their feelings of Faison onto him, and you just not getting it. It's like, that's not what they're doing. And Dante made it clear, like, he wants her to be happy. He wants what's best for her. But you're not going to get that with Peter. Like, you're making a big mistake. And I was happy when Lulu arrived at the bar and she saw Dante and stuff. Hopefully, they sit down and talk and figure out what they're going to do. Like I said, Lulu don't have to make decisions today, but eventually you're going to have to make them at some point. But anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I will see y'all all later. Hope you all have a great night. Peace.